talk about Busy Bee. Crikey. Crikey, at what point do I get a Kit Kat in all of this? Is everyone okay? Thanks for your patience, everyone. I'm just hop skipping at the moment, trying to get from one live to the next, to the next, to the next, and our internet is playing silly beggars as well, which is not helpful. So fingers crossed we survive the show. Now, I did say that we're going to do some painting today, and that is very true, we are. So if you are brand new to the channel, this is our Create Together inspirational class number 2. Yesterday we did these 2 lovely cards, shaped cards yesterday. But today we're going to do some painting using papers. So just because it's a paper collection doesn't mean we can't paint with it. Tim, could you get me a cup of water to paint with, please? So I want to show you that paper can be so versatile in so many different ways if you think outside the box sometimes, and I'm loving this brand new collection for our Create Together Club. Now the products are linked, they're on the website, just type in Create Together Club and it'll come up. So some of you may have been waiting to see what it was, and that's okay too. We still have some available. But hopefully you've all been getting stuck in and being real creative. Now I'm going to make you all look like artists today. I really am super excited about this class. So let's do a little bit of a shout out. We've got Angela, Leslie, Michaela, Natalie, Sue, Melanie. So if you can share the show any way possible, that would be awesome. But let's have a look through the amazing products. I've got all my offcuts from yesterday as well, a nice big pile. So let's just have a look at the wonderful collection here. So we have our 12 by 12. Which is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. We have our 7 by 7, we have our vellum pack, and we also have our like painted mounts-esque embellishments, our journaling pages, whatever you want to call them. And we're going to use these all in different ways over the course of the next 5 days. Now, please do know I'm not live tomorrow. I'm on TV tomorrow, but I'm back with you Thursday, 1 o'clock, Friday, 1 o'clock, and then next Monday, 1 o'clock as well. So... Michelle Lane, I'm new to this craft. Well, welcome, sweetheart. Oh, she's new. You're stepping into a little bit of scary territory here because we're going to do a little bit of painting. But normally we do make cards and pretty things like that. So just sit back, grab a cup of tea and just enjoy the show. So everyone's okay. Right. Tim's on to get me some water so we can paint. Now, I said to you yesterday, didn't I, that these sort of collections with the fluid watercolour edge lend themselves really well to making us look like artists. So I'm just going to grab one of those. So let's just move that onto the back here. So the collection is heavily discounted because it's part of our sort of like creative space, should we say, where we all either copy the cards, do similar things, get inspired by the cards. But the class purpose really is to just do different things to what we would normally do. So I'm just going to go through this. Let me show you. And the one I want, I believe, is at the back, but it is nice to see the pretty papers regardless. And it's these that I want. That's the beginning of those. So, ooh. Decisions. I think we'll do a little mini and we'll do a big one as well. Thanks. So I don't want the solid ones. You see how these ones are solid? We want the one with the watercolour edge. They're all sort of like toppers. So we move those over. So we want something that's got sort of this fluid edge. Can we see around here to create the like we've painted it effect? So let's have a look. Like this one, I think would be a good one. That's too sterile. You see that circle there? That's too sterile. This is probably the better one to try and get the look that we want. Let's have a look at the big ones as well, though. Quite like this. I love them all. So what we're going to do. Right, I quite like this one here. So let's cut this one out. So there's a little bit of a way to get something to make it look like it's your artwork, okay? So let's do 2. Let's cut 2. And then we can decide, right? We're not putting ourselves in a box. That's quite nice too as well. Right, let's just get cutting. Come on. So this is how we do our watercolour cards. So we sort of like go around the design very loosely. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just get round the design. Just very loosely. And it looks a hash to start. We've done this multiple times with flowered cardstock and things like that. We've made the image absolutely look like it's our own. So have the courage to just try this technique. I want to see everybody trying this technique today. Well, not today, but at some point if you're able. So the cool thing about this is when you see watercolour pictures like this, you're never going to have the same matchy-matchy watercolours. So there's a little bit of a hack to make it look like it was part of an original design. And I'll show you that in a second. So I'm just roughly going round here. So I've done this one. So we have one. Okay, very rough in design, but bear with the process. It will look amazing. You just need to trust the process. So that's one. And then let's have a look at a second. Now we could show, that's got like an arch on it. Let's do this one where it's, let's have a look. Shall we do this one? This one's a little bit easier to cut. So let's do this one with the fuller detail on there. If you've just watched our Deal Hunters show, sorry about the delay, we just could not get live. There are some incredible savings in the show that I've just done before hopping onto here. Check those out, guys, because there really are some fantastic savings. So then we've got this one, okay? So let's just move all of our work out of the way. So these are not sort of quick fix cards, guys. You can't, well, some of you might be able to speed watercolour, but I always like to do these as a little bit of mindfulness, me. That's how I like to do my watercolours. I like to take my time with them. I like to faff with colour and things like that. So I'm going to do 2 cards same time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of like think about where I'm going to form this design. And I'm probably going to do that one off the page, cut that down. And then this one, similar. I think we'll just go with that for now, and then we can always trim it slimmer if we want to and do a burst of colour. But I want it to look like you don't know that I haven't painted this, and there's some great hacks that I can show you which really do make you look fantastic. So let's have a look at this one this way. I think I like it that way better. Right, so what we're going to do, what you need is some watercolour. Look at the state of mind, I do apologise. Some water. You're going to need your Stamps by Me brushes or any brush, what you've got in your stash. I'm just going to use this one here. I've also got my bigger ones as well. So any really that are going to work. You don't need a super fine detail one, but you do need one that's obviously a watercolour type style one on there. So what we're going to do is have a slip of coffee and just take a moment. Take a moment. So I'm not sure what's happening with Ideal World yet, guys, either. Still no clue. Right, okay. So, and you maybe a spritz bottle as well might be a little bit helpful. I'm going to do both at the same time. Now you do one at a time, okay? But I'm doing 2 at the same time just to give you a little bit of variation. So let's go on to overhead. Now, pick out the prominent colours in your design. So I can see we've got quite a bit of green. And on here we have green and this sort of like mauve, is it mauve? This sort of like light burgundy-esque grey colour scale going down here. We've got a bit of peach going on here as well. But because my watercolours ain't going to look like that. We need to apply watercolour to this as well. And we need to add our own watercolour to this. And then when we drag it out into the background, it will look like it's our work. So I'm going to bring in the two pieces, move these out of the way. And I'm going to take some water in a brush. I'm going to add a pop of colour myself. Okay, so let's focus on this tree up here. So bear in mind, it is just normal cardstock. It's 200 GSM. It isn't going to carry a lot of water. So try and keep your water quite minimal, okay? So let's just add some colour up here ourselves. So it's got a peach, it's got a bit of a green. So let's bring in some colour here. Could do with a bit of scrap, maybe just to drink up any loose ink. So I'll just get this card here. So you can see now. So I'm just going to add a touch of my green into this green to enhance this. So when I drag it out to the background, my green is going to coordinate with the green that is on the picture as well, okay? So just spot, spot, spot. Maybe a bit darker, not too dark though. So it's easier to take it, easier to add than it is to take away, okay? So a bit more green in that green area. It always dries back 2 shades lighter. You know, so have the courage to add your own detail. So the key to it basically is make sure you add some water first. And then add your watercolour on top. You see how we're just enhancing the colour there? This is going to be great for mindfulness, guys. So if you're a bit of a loose end with your craft, get your stash out, get this paper pad out and do this. Okay? I've got a bit of green here, so I'm going to take some water. Add a touch of my green. You can see the difference already in the two where we've added our own green. So maybe make that a little bit darker on the edge there. Can we see that? So we'll do this one first, and then the lessons learned from this one, we will apply to our second one, if we get a chance to do a second one, that is. Okay, so next I can see we've got some peaches. So that in my world, in my palette, looks like a pale pink. I'm just going to add some water, mix some pink, make it pale. I'm just going to add a little bit of more pink. I've got some pink in the glass there, some pink there. So that when I come to add the pink hue around and make it look like it's my own, the pink won't be harsh, it'll match. I'll add a bit of pink into there. So just going over the artwork, just enhancing it a little bit further. So we've got some pink blossom going on up the top too. So let's add some of that up there. Don't be scared of it. I promise you it will not bite. Let's make this a little bit darker over here. If you put too much on, wet your brush, take the water out of your brush, and then put your brush back on and drink the ink. You see how it just takes the ink away? So basically we're just enhancing areas. So our background is going to blend beautifully. Where else can we do? I think we're good. I think we're good. So what we need to do now is we need to edge. So you know when you cut from paper, the edge on the side is totally white. Well, I don't want that to be shown at all on my project. This has got to blend seamlessly into our background. If you see a rise and fall in the card when we stick it to our physical card, people are going to know it's paper. Well, we don't want people to know it's paper, right? We want to make it look like we painted the whole thing. Yes, we only painted elements of the paper, and yes, we only painted the exterior, but we don't want people to know that we didn't do it all. Anyone else fancy a cup of tea? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick one of the colours. It doesn't really matter which colour. So I'm going to pick up some of this green off my sheet here, and I'm just going to edge and get rid of that white edge. I don't want anybody to know it was paper. All the way around. Change to pink now. Like so. Okay, so now we have, cut that out a little bit blobby. Now we have our own sort of like take on that lovely pretty piece that we've done. So let's move that to one side, let that dry, and let's bring in this piece. So we're going to do exactly the same formula we've just done. We're just going to enhance it slightly. So again, we've got the green, we've got some more pink on here. So let's just vibratize it, should we say, so we can at least get it to match. So some more green, I'm just mixing on this card here. So add some water, clean, clear water first. So a bit of colour on there already on the greens. And don't be afraid to add it in spaces where there's no colour too, like up here. No, because that's going to help it tie in a little bit more. But don't be afraid to add colour in other areas. Oh. You're all very quiet. Is it because you're all watching me? I know when you're all watching me, you all go very quiet. So that's a nice bit touch of green. Let's just add a bit more up here. And like I say, you just need to be a little bit mindful that it is cardstock. So you're going to get the cockle if you add a ton of water, and that's okay. It will flatten down, but just be mindful. You're not going to get a lot of like grace in moving colour around. Just be mindful of that. And then pink. And I'll add some pink to the cup. And just add some water first. There's a little. Make them a bit brighter. So then when we add the background, it's all going to match beautifully. And then we've got a real paley colour up here. I'm just going to tie that in a little bit more. Pounds, pounds, pounds. See how we created that ourselves? That was not part of the paper there. We've done that ourselves with the green and the pink. Let's add a bit more under here. I've learned something new. Oh, bless you. That's super cool. It's always nice to learn something new, isn't it? So, and again, if you do it too dark, just take your water out your brush, squeeze it off, and then just take your brush and just let the ink come back into your brush. And watercolour always dries back at least 2 shades lighter. So, you know, don't be scared to get a bit of colour on. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to edge. So I'm just going to pick up, it doesn't really matter what colour you pick up as long as it's colour, and edge. Don't want to see a white cut cardstock line. Okay, we're trying to hide that. Right, so far so good. Everyone good. Love Tony's painting tips. I do love my painting though, guys, as you all know. Right, so what we need to do now is we need to bring in our... So I'm using watercolour card for my base because then it's going to allow me to move the colour around. You can use white cardstock. It's just not going to give you the scope to be able to move it around and manipulate it and make it your own. So if you have our Carter or some watercolour cardstock in your stash, it's a preferred option, okay? But it's not necessary to try the technique. Okay, so when you bring your paperwork, what you've painted, into here, look at what's going on. It looks very harsh. Don't look great, does it, guys? So what we need to do is I need to dry these two pieces thoroughly. Like, you would never know we've actually added colour to these ourselves, would you? It just looks like paper at the moment, which we have. We've sort of like tied our own coloured watercolours into the watercolours that already exist. So when we do our background wash, it's going to pick up the accents we've put on and make it match. Okay, so get this as dry as you can. That's why I say I absolutely love these ones that have got a watercolour outline. Because sometimes it's problematic to use on cards, isn't it? Because it has like an unfinished edge. But techniques like this can really push your boundaries with your craft and make you try different things. This is one of my all-time favourites to do. You've seen me do it tons of times with flowers, haven't you? Tons of times where the flowers are on the card and we do the background and it looks like I've painted the whole thing. You've seen me do it loads. So what you need to do now is you need to make sure, obviously, all the edges are covered. No white edge, as long as there's colour somewhere, okay? So before we even go about gluing or anything, we need to now wet the back. Let's do one at a time because I don't want one to dry and I don't want to be put under pressure running two at the same time. So let's do this one. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my water, I'm just going to stick some on my mat and then I'll stick my watercolour card to the water. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet the front, okay? Not too much. Just enough to get some colour around, okay? Make sure that's straight, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to get a bigger brush. Well, you don't have to have a bit. Let's stick with the same brush because you might only have one brush at home, okay? And all you're going to do is you're going to mimic the colours from here onto here. But how do you want your card to look? Now, I'm thinking I want it to look like I've painted this area of it. So all I'm going to do, pull my water in, pull my palette in, and the pink, which is already mixed because we've been using, I'm just going to drop into places, okay? So I'll probably about here, okay? So I'm just going to, you see how I've dropped it in? And it looks like an absolute hot mess to start with, but you just need to trust the process, okay? Trust the process. I can see that that's got some pink up there, and I probably would take the pink all the way up the side there. So already you can see, just with a lay down of pink, it's already starting to come together, isn't it? So let's get a bit more on there. So just pick some certain areas. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out into some green. And don't worry if your colour bleeds the pink into the green, because if you look at the design, it's got pink that's bled into green anyway from the initial design. So it will match. Don't worry about it, okay? We've added our green, so it's going to match. So I'm just going to get rid of some of this intense green because it's really green. And then I'm going to take some of the green where it's green on the edge, like so. Extend those leaves up there. And my blower is blowing directly onto my cardstock, so that's nearly dry there. So basically I'm just holding it in place, okay? Pounds, pounds, pounds. So a bit more green. I think I'm only going to get one done because I really need to see this process through from start to finish for you, but we'll see. I'm just intensifying some of the greens here because remember it dries back 2 shades lighter. Have a bit of brown on there as well, so let's do a little bit of this browny colour. Excuse me if I go quiet. I'm enjoying myself. Oh, Rolf, we'll watch later. Okay, sweetheart, see you soon. So again, just go super duper light and you can always take it away or add more. Okay, so what I'm going to do is it's drying pretty quick, so I'm just going to spray it with my water again, get it to just move around a little bit more. Now, so far so good. So what I need to do now is I've got a bit of a puddle. Let me just mop that up with my tissue. And then what we will do, let me just get my tissue out of my pocket, along with my microphone. Come on out, you. Here we go. Just going to mop up my puddle, which you lose half of your colour, which is crazy, right? And then what I'm going to do first now is I'm just going to dry it off because I don't want that colour now to move, and then I'm going to build on it, okay? So I'm happy with my first layer. Let's dry it off or get rid of some of the moisture. Terry, hi from Michigan. Hi, sweetheart. So let's just push that colour around a little bit. Let's just dry this off. Pretty much dies to nothing then, look. See how it dries back? Look, it's pretty much gone, hasn't it? Enjoy your craft, sweetheart. Yes, why not? So that's sort of like a first layer, a first pass, okay? Let's see what it looks like. So you can see it still needs intensifying. We need to make it look a little bit more real. We're lacking here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray here. And the colour will move around, but now you can layer build because the card will hold the colour from before, but you still have the capability to build as well. So I'm thinking we need more green here. So let's get some green. So when I normally do like this twice. So I normally do once and then dry it back and then do it again and then dry it back. And then I adhere the image and then that's where we build on from there, okay? So this is the second, we'll call this the second pass, okay? Get some water, bit of green, just a little bit down here. Can't really see it there. So I'm needing a little, let's just add a touch of brown in there just to make it a little bit of more of a sagey coloured green. Just to push it back a little bit because it's a little bit harsh compared to the design. There we go. Can you see it's a little bit more woody? But at the end of the day, it's a piece of cardstock, guys. I promise you it won't bite. It can go in the bin, okay? So another quick tip for you all, guys, is if you have like a harsh edge that you don't like, I'll just get that. Take a brush loaded with water and meet the line. Don't drag it out, meet the line with the water. So for instance, this harsh line here, if I go in and meet, the colour will come down into the water, not the opposite way around, okay? So water in your brush, go to the harsh line and meet the harsh line and let the colour run into your water, not the other way around. Right, just do its thing, okay? Let's just get rid of the puddles and let's dry this off. So we're only halfway through our background. So I think we're just going to get the one done today. I was a little bit ambitious saying two, but anyway. So let's dry this one off. I know when you're all watching me, because nobody talks, I keep saying it, but you really do go quiet. Hi, Denise. Just going to grab my Eureka and let it go flat. Okay, so far so good. Let it go flat. Right, now you need some glue. So glue is the most important part of this sort of like project because we do not want to see any lifts, rise, fall, because you're going to know it's paper if it's raised a little bit on the edge, okay? We need to blend it seamlessly. So let me just clear this glue down. My other glue, ugh, yuck. Ugh. La, 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 la. I'm enjoying this, says Elizabeth. I think, Elizabeth, you've seen me do this loads of times. I know you all find it really therapeutic watching me paint. It's all right when it goes to plan, though. Sometimes, as you all know, it don't go to plan. You've seen me do some epic fails, then epic recoveries. Some brilliant recoveries, some not so brilliant recoveries. This is just an old glue, guys. I'm just absolutely hacking to death here. So when you use your heat gun on watercolour card, you are going to naturally get that wave. So put it under something heavy like so. It's not going to flatten it out or iron it or anything like that, but it is going to just sort of like help a little bit. Relaxing to watch. So let's have a look where we're at. So yeah, it's still got its ripples. It is still a little bit damp, to be honest. Let's just give it another quick blast. Give it a blast from the back as well. I have, but it's nice to be reminded, I know. Just give it another wee second and we'll get on with it. Absolutely, Natalie. That's a great idea. I know. Maybe when I retire, I might go to hospitals and paint with people who are not very well. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Actually, that would be a dream, just to sit and make people happy when I'm retired. Right, so all good. Let's get this stuck on. Where's my piece? Okay, so we have our piece. Now, it's really important we glue every element of this piece down. You can't get away with just a bit of tape. It needs gluing properly, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some cardstock, piece of card. What's this? This is a piece of scrap. I'm going to do like, you know, like the kids in school where they do. Now, if you've got good precision glue, you can spread it all around, I guess, but let's get some glue on here. Oh, be helpful, wouldn't it? Right to the tip. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to put it on some scrap paper. Probably don't need as much as this, guys, but, you know, better to be safe than sorry. So then I'm going to take my piece, get rid of that. And then get some more cardstock, put it on top. Make sure it's absolutely stuck down. Just looking underneath. No, we're good. Bear in mind, we haven't cut it down or anything yet. It's just like a little bit of a masterpiece in its action at the moment. So let's just move that out of the way. Just put that in the bin. And this is what it looks like so far. So we've created our sort of like backdrop on there. So now what we need to do is blend that paper into our background, okay? So what we're going to do, and this part might be the scary part for some, but honestly, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. It's not even cut down to a card shape yet. We're just sort of like building on this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in our watercolour. We're going to bring in our water. And now what we're going to do is we're going to paint both like a picture. Tie all the bits into all the bits, if that makes sense. So let's start up here with this pink. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to wet the card as well as the exterior. I'm going to sort of like tie that background. So I can see we've got a little bit of brown going on here. I'll mix it on here. Bit of brown. And what I'm going to do is pounce on here and on the card to pull it out. Does that make sense? And if you get a harsh line, don't worry about it. We're going to blend it out. Now, a couple of things that you can actually do, guys, when you're doing this is you can put your colour on like that and then you can take your spray and spray it. So it sort of like softens the edge, but you will get like a radical colour come through. So, sorry, a radical shape. So just bear that in mind as well. So let's just pull this back to pink instead of that mucky. I'm going to leave that because I have the confidence that that is just going to look after itself. And then let's come down here. Basically just dragging out that colour. Spray. You see that there? Oh, can you see how it just sort of like blends down? Let's make it a bit darker. Sorry if I'm going quiet. I'm just enjoying my zen. Okay, and then we're just going to tie this up here, like make this pink come down and up further. The intention here, guys, is not to cover all the work you did underneath. It's just to sort of like build on it, okay? So you get the separation in the colour behind. So that now is going up as if it's part of that there. Bit of clean, clear water just to drag that out a little bit. So just work on sporadic parts of the design until you're happy. So let's get a bit more. That looks, it's down as pink, that, but I think we will get away with it, even though that edge of that is green. We'll have to wait till that dries, then you can add some green. And then in here, let's make this dark green. So and I'm going to pull some of that green into the design further in here, so it looks like it's part of. I'm going to pop some of this green up here. Keep moving your colour around. If you've got a big puddle, take the water out your brush and drink it up. Basically, I am just making that piece of paper blend into that background. That is all we're doing, guys. So that, I'm going to drag that line down so it looks like it's part of it. So then it's just a case of sort of like stepping back a little bit, looking at your design. I've got this here, this needs sorting. Let's get a bit of brown up here. you cannot tell me that you can tell that there is a piece of paper there. So the more time you spend just adding the colour, taking it away, blending it out, blending it into one another. I'm going to cut that anyway, so that's going to disappear off there, so that's okay. Did you paint that? I'm just looking, guys, if you're wondering why it's quiet, I'm looking. Can you turn it off, please? It's warm. I'd like to try and accentuate this as if it was. Right, I'm happy with my first. Let's dry this off. Oh, my gun's not working now. Don't know what's happened there. It might be too hot, my gun. I'll just give it a second. Now I've just mopped that out of there. Now I've got a harsh line there. I'm not happy with that at all. Just getting rid of that puddle. Denise says this is so pretty. Got too hot, hasn't it? Right, I'll just. Could you see if there's one in Studio One, please? Yeah. I need it for this technique. But Tim's just going to go get me the gun because we need to dry this off, and I need to sort this edge out here, and I need to get some greenery under here. In fact, whilst he's doing that, we can get some greenery. I'm just going to take my brush clean and add some water here. Don't be afraid to put shapes in as well, guys. So if you have the confidence to put like a line, leaf, petal design in, have the confidence to do that as well, don't forget. They all dry back pretty much to nothing. Good sketch, picked up the wrong green there. Oof, you come out. We don't want you. Okay. So whilst we wait for our gun, let's just faff. I've got some more water in here. I need to sort out this corner. It's not working. Is there one there, Tim? No, oh, I've got it at TV. Hang on, is there one under there from Funky Fossil? So I'm happy with this area. I'm happy with this area. I'm happy down here. I'm happy here. Not so much happy here. No, it'll be fine. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll manage. Need to make this just a little bit more interesting. So you just saw there, I wet my brush, I'm going to take it up to that harsh line and let the colour just come down into my line, like so. And then let's just cut it down and get it on a card. How are we going to end this studio? Are you going to come back, Tim? All right, so I'm just going to put some water up here. And I'm just going to add a bit of, I think we need to do a bit of brown. Now, I just don't touch, just get rid of that puddle in there. Now I've got nothing to dry it off with, guys. So basically, let's just let's have a second. Let's have a second. So what we need to do is, what a pain. I think my gun was just hot, you know. I just think we need to let it just cool down for a second. It was hot. So whilst it's wet like that, I want it to blend in and make it look like a little bit more artistic. I don't like that line though. You'll get gone. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our brush and we're going to take some of the pink and we're going to add some splats, okay? So we're going to absolutely tie it in. Don't be afraid of splats, they dry back lighter. What that does is it brings, again, the image into this, I'm part of the background here. And if you've got a little bit of an area what you can't quite get right, because I'm struggling with this at the minute, then rattle it with splats, and that's where it will connect it, if it's not too wet. And then take a bit of green as well, not too much, because we don't want it to sort of like end up a muddy mess, but 2 colours is always good for splats. Right, let's try that. Still not happy here. We need to add maybe a big block of green, just like it's a bush behind it, to stop it from looking like this arch. But overall, I mean, this line here looks amazing, doesn't it? It looks like the shadow of the cloth. I'm just going to pull it over here, guys, because I'm plugged into a different plug. And if you get any lifting, which there is a chance, I've got this underneath here, probably because it's a little bit too wet, just add a bit more glue underneath and bang it back down. And let's get our card blank. I think it's going to lend itself nice to a square, maybe. Oops, what's happened there? Tidy up. Might be a bit small, that card. I need a bigger card. I don't want to cut away all the work I've done. That's better. And then you can, when I do these sorts of cards though, guys, I never like to matte and layer them, because true watercolor cards are straight to paper, right? And then that's the card. So I always try not to cut a matte and layer to go with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this first. Put a bit of glue under that piece there. So you know how I've done this here, guys, and I'm not really loving that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my guillotine and trim it off as if, this is the great thing about, take some of it away, does that make sense? If it allows me, because it's wet. So now, looks like the painting's gone off the edge there, that needs glue in there. And then let's get rid of this edge here, which is this piece that's overhung, look. I've got a little raise there. You can just see the shadow there, a little raise. I need to glue that down, but how cool. What I would probably do, guys, is I'd probably get my black ink pad. Clean my hands. Probably make this a bit smaller card, actually. This is and then you would probably just take a washi tape tab of some form, or a nice black one would make it pop, but even no sentiment, it's a watercolour card, it's very rare. So proud of you. How does that look? What do we think? Like the watercolour splashes, it just ties it all together. This bit needs glue, it needs a bit more work, but I'm so in love with this. That looks good, doesn't it, guys? You would never know this is paper. I'd probably faff with this way longer. What I would probably do with this, guys, is just a little bit of feedback if it happens to you, is, you know how it's so dark up here and it's not so dark down here? Get your white paint out, stick some white over it, push it back, and then get some colour on top and keep manipulating. It needs something going on here as well for that little tail. But I'm chuffed with that, guys. Not a bad effort at all. I will glue it and it will get on the Hall of Fame for as decision at the end of the 5 days worth of inspiration. So I hope I've inspired you just to pick up the brush and some watercolour and team them up with papers that you might have in your stash and make what is a piece of paper print into something that looks like you've painted it. And also, if it doesn't look great at the end of it, the actual doing of the watercolouring with your hands and playing and moving colour around is one step further to being a better painter. So even if you don't get the results you want, or you think everybody else is better than you, even picking up that brush and having a go is enough to educate yourself on colour and movement, even if it's not a great project at the end of it. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed that. Do know I'm not with you tomorrow, but I will be with you Thursday and Friday. And then we'll do our last one on the Monday to play catch up. So I hope you're enjoying the Create Together Club so far. We have a little paper project for the next one. And I'm not sure what I've got planned in for the others. They're all on my phone in a list. But yeah, I'm super excited about it. I always love Create Together. It's total mindfulness and I love to see you all. So don't forget, if you do like the products, they are linked below. We do still have some items left. And if you are playing with them, don't forget to share your makes over on our Eureka fan page. And if you could share this show or pop a comment underneath, that would be awesome as well. So whatever you're doing, have a great afternoon. And I will speak to you all later. Take care, guys. Bye.